What's going on, guys? It's your boy, the DMD, and I'm just coming at you guys right now with a really chill video. I'm just going to do a locals review of this past weekend. So I played at a store called Element Gaming in South Carolina. It's a really low-key kind of store. There's a lot of really competitive players that I was fortunate to play against. And I ended up doing really well. I think I got third out of about 24 people, which isn't like a ton. Like, it's not anything super substantial, but it was a pool of a lot of what I would consider really competitive players. I was playing against some really competitive decks, and I went 4-1, and I ended up finishing third out of 24. And it was really a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun playing on that day and just hanging out with some friends and getting some prize packs, yeet, and a lot of good Yu-Gi-Oh! So I just kind of wanted to go into my matchups and what they were and talk a little bit about how I did. So I'll get into the first matchup really quick. The first matchup was against what was either PK Fire or just pure PK. I'm pretty sure it was pure PK because I didn't see any Seer Graph or anything like that. The only thing he did was normal summon a tour guide, and then like he didn't make anything after that wasn't a Bardiche. So I am willing to say it was more pure, although I do know that pure PK plays a Seer and a Graph, so I'm assuming that those were just engine pieces and there weren't really actually any BA monsters in there. But that being said, game one, he ended up getting hand trapped. I kind of blew him out. I Nibiru'd him, and I normal summoned Ram and made Zeus into his back row, which he tried to Fog Blade my attacking Borbo. But of course, I just detached a material because Ram was under the Borbo, so I just kind of negated the Fog Blade. And from there, I just kind of went off. He tried to chain a Fog Blade to the Zeus that I made in main phase 2, but it didn't really do a whole lot of good. Game 2, I went ahead and just opened up literally everything. I opened up Twin Twisters plus a Nibiru. So yeah, I Nibiru'd him on the summit of Bardiche, and he really didn't have much to follow up with. Like, he set 2 cards and passed, and I had Twin Twisters in hand. I really just, yeah, there wasn't much left to him. I kind of felt really bad. But anyway, moving on to round 2. Round 2 was really interesting because it was against my buddy Drew on Earth Machine. It was really interesting. Game 1, I believe I got game 1 because I remember I opened just absolutely everything. I had like Judgment and Strike plus Dryden, and I think I had Ash. So yeah, game 1 there wasn't really much of anything that he could do. Game 2, he went first and popped my normal summon, and I did not have a follow-up whatsoever. So that was kind of unfortunate. I didn't have Barrage or Reborn, so I had no way to extend, so we just went to game 3 because there was really nothing I could do. Game 3 was really close. We ended up slugging it out over the course of several, turns back and forth. It was really a slugfest because it was like top deck after top deck, and Earth Machine can really recur a lot. So even after I attempted to clear his board, he would get resources back in the end phase and continue to just try to play around the trap cards that I had and all of my floodgates and such. But I got to a point where I was able to establish a Zeus, and that was pretty much the end of the game. So that was a 2-1. and that was a really, really good match. I had a lot of fun. Round 3, unfortunately, was the only loss of the day, and it was a hard loss. I played Dogmatica Zoo, and he destroyed me. Nadir Servant is a ridiculous card, like being able to send Nts going second and being able to send Titanclad going first. The card's just like insane, so he was able to like crack my board going second against me. I believe I won that die roll, and he had everything, and I really couldn't play just because there were so many Eldritch traps that he was able to float into. He conked my normal summon, so that was just not good. Game 2, similar situation. Like I didn't see any of my side deck cards, and it was just really bad all around. It was a little bit more of a slugfest because of the fact that I was able to blow him out with like back row removal, but the very end of the game, he top decked Nadir Servant with no cards in hand and no cards on field. And I did not have an Ash, and wow, that felt bad. Like, I had a Chakanine on board, and I was going to revive Dryden and make Megaclops next turn, but he literally had no cards in hand, no cards on field, and top decked into Nadir Servant. And that was a pretty crushing loss. I did not enjoy that, but it's all good. My round 4 was Pure Dolls, and I don't know if he just bricked or what the scenario was, but I ended up 2-0ing him really hard. I knew he was on Pure Doll, and I went ahead and made Megaclops because they really can't out that outside of Super Poly, which he was able to Super Poly me game 2, but he didn't really have a whole lot of follow-up to that, so yeah, it was just kind of a clean win. Just Zeus was there to do all the cleanup and whatnot. The last round was round 5, and there was this deck that all day everybody was talking about. It was this Buster Blader deck that basically just tutored out the Buster Lock with Buster Dragon and the Buster Blader Fusion. And basically what it is, it's like a Baguska lock where you essentially get all your monsters turned to defense mode and they can't activate their effects if they're in defense mode. So game 1, I didn't really see any impactful hand traps. I didn't know what he was playing because I just saw a pile of 60 cards, and so I had no idea what he was on. But he was on Buster Blader Lock Turbo, I guess. And I really had no out to the lock, and so I just picked up new cards and went to game 2. Game 2, I got it because I opened up just absolutely nuts. Like I went first and I opened like Judgment, Imperial Order, Strike plus Dryden, and he simply couldn't play the game. Game 3, I sided in Twin Twisters because I wanted to out the back row because I knew that he had he was using the trap card to fusion summon on my turn into the Buster Blader fusion. So I wanted to kind of bait out any back row that he may have, but I don't know what the scenario was. He set 1. He set 2 and passed. And I had evenly Twin Twisters and Feather Duster. I activated Feather Duster, popped 2 cards, and normal summon Ram, and he conceded. So from there, it was just kind of like I just go up and tell the people what my result was, and that was pretty much a wrap. He was kind of a little bit visibly and verbally salty after the match, so that was interesting to say the least. But that's pretty much how my rounds went. I got 3rd overall. I was really, really happy with how I did. I had a really, really fun time. Zoo best deck. If you guys have any questions about how my rounds went or anything like that, or just simply have questions about anything, just leave them in the comment section below. Alright, it's me, it's that DMD, and your boy is out.
You're my heartbeat.